My name is Niall. I am one of the senior admissions counselors here at DigiPen Institute of Technology, and I'm here to help teach you all about how to apply to DigiPen post WANIC, right? So you've all been taking some courses, you've finished your first quarter, congratulations again. So you kind of already know a little bit about what DigiPen does. You've gotten a taste of it, right? But let's summarize. We have degree programs here at DigiPen all about getting into the video game industry. Um, whether you're interested in art and animation, whether you're interested in music and sound design, game development, game design, or computer science, right? We have degree programs in all of these umbrella, buckets, in which case you could go through. Um, a lot of you might be artists, a lot of you might be computer scientists. Today, we're going to be talking about everything that you need to know to successfully submit your application to DigiPen if that's the route you'd like to go through. So, without further ado, a new foe has appeared. In this case, it is none other than the DigiPen application, and we're going to be walking through that together today. So, all about the application. First things first, our deadlines. We've retweaked our deadlines over the past few, in this new academic cycle. We have an early action deadline coming up on November 15th. When you apply by this deadline, and by applying, you need to submit the full application as well as get all of your required materials in by that deadline of November 15th. More on that in a bit. But if you apply by this date, you will have your decision back by mid-December latest. And you'll also have priority access to the Merit and Dragon Opportunity Scholarships. And I'm sure Emily will jump in a little bit more later on to talk about what those are and how you would qualify. Our early action 2 deadline is January 15th of 2026, so next year. You'll get a decision by mid-February if all of your things are submitted at this time by January 15th. You'll have priority consideration for the Dragon Opportunity Scholarship as well as others, and you can expect most applications to be received by this date. The general deadline following is on March 1st of 2026. This decision, when you apply by this deadline, you will get a decision in time for June 1st housing deadline. So if you're interested in living in DigiPen housing by the time you apply to DigiPen, this is the general deadline is the one you kind of want to shoot for the most. But if you miss that one by any means, we do have a final deadline. It's not too late until July 1st of 2026. And this is the last call for any fall 2026 incoming class spots for the next year. Any questions you have about DigiPen housing or financial aid are best answered by the appropriate teams as on your screen. So reach out to financial aid or housing here. I'll give you some time to take a screenshot or take a photo of your screen if you'd like to before we jump into the more nitty-gritty aspects. I absolutely will provide Raymond with this presentation as well to help circulate it. So no worries. I see you in chat. All right. What do we need to do to get started with the application? So we as admissions counselors we're all here to help you find the program that's the best fit for you. Now, you've already been taking a WANIC course that might be something you're really interested in doing. If that is the field in which you'd like to pursue while you're here at DigiPen, by all means, I feel like it's probably a one-to-one experience-wise. But if you're still not sure, we have a handy-dandy degree program degree quest on our website. Think of this like the Hogwarts sorting quiz, but for all of our degree programs. You'll answer a few different questions and it'll guide you toward what we think might be the best fit degree program for you. It'll give you links to all of the information that you might need to be able to learn as much as you can about every degree program and explore on your own time. As well as all of the program-specific admissions requirements, which we will go into a little bit later. Familiarize yourself with all of our degree programs so that you know which one you're going to apply for, because again, you can only apply to one at a time. And like I said, we admissions counselors, we're here to help you out. Definitely don't be a stranger. Reach out to us if you have any questions. We have free one-on-one admissions meetings, which can be held virtually as well as in person. So let's say you're on campus for a class, for a WANIC course, right? Feel free to schedule yourself an in-person admissions meeting, and you can meet with me or another member of our team, and we can gladly help answer any questions you have about the application or the whole process. We're really here to help you. Financial aid also offers one-on-one financial aid advisor meetings with them as well. And you can also attend a numerous numbers of Office of Admissions outreach events. We have a bunch coming up later as well at the very end of this presentation that I'll share as well. But definitely lock in, really understand our degree programs, and choose the one that best fits you. If you have any questions, just reach out. So you're starting your application. What do you got to do first? Well, it seems pretty straightforward, but a lot of people are nervous when they first start an application, especially to a college. They want to have everything at once before they can hit that submit button and say, "Okay, I'm done. I don't need to touch it anymore." The way it works at DigiPen is a little bit different, right? We want you to submit the application first and foremost. This will give us all of the information that we need to be able to be in regular contact with you, and you'll always be able to upload any other materials that you might need for your application after you submit your application. Rest assured, we will not send you through to evaluation until we have absolutely everything that we need. So this includes the application, as well as any transcripts that we need, any essays that you need to submit, as well as any portfolios that you have to submit. And again, more of that later. Some things that you'll find in the application: personal contact. Please do not use a school affiliated email. So like uh, nothing affiliated with like Seattle School District or any other local like Washington State School District as well. Try to keep it a personal, non-school email so that all of our communications can be reached to you very well without having like any blacklist spam marking of our emails. And that being said, also add our handle at digipen.edu to your safe senders list, and check your email regularly for communications from, me or your other admissions counselors as well. Citizenship. If you have dual citizenship, list United States as your primary citizenship. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. We just want to make sure that you have, all of your accurate information. Academic history, we want to list all of the high schools that you've attended. So if you've attended multiple, list any and all that you've attended. But if you have a high school transcript, for instance, that has all of your previous coursework listed on it, you'd only need to submit that transcript. More on that later. But if you've attended homeschool, any colleges you've attended, we need to have a record of every single school that you've attended. And for DigiPen WANIC, you can either add DigiPen itself to your application or the WANIC Skill Center to your application. Both of those are just fine. Emergency contacts. For security purposes, we need to make sure that our phone numbers as well as our emails are different from our emergency contacts. And they must be legal adults. And if you have any questions about that at all, reach out to your admissions counselor. We can definitely work with you, especially if you have a privacy concern or you don't want to let your parents know about something, or say your preferred name isn't something that you want leaked to your other members of your family or your emergency contact. We're here to help you out in that regard as well. So we'll keep your applicant confidentiality top priority. Okay, what's next after you submit the application? Well, is the application fee. And it's $60, and it can be easily waived by attending any one of our Office of Admissions and Outreach events. For example, if you were to meet with me for a one-on-one admissions meeting, after attending, your application fee would be automatically waived, for instance. If you've attended a DigiPen preview day, automatically waived. If you've attended an online webinar, one of our online information sessions, automatically waived as well. If you've done a student shadow opportunity, where you've followed around a student on campus and attended a class, right? All of these opportunities and more can waive your $60 application fee. If you have any questions, just reach out. More than happy to help you out there. Personal statements. So for fall 2026, all personal statement essays, so this is your like typical college essay or whatnot, are optional. However, that being said, if you're applying to the Bachelor of Fine Arts in Digital Art and Animation, there is a required personal statement essay with specific requirements regarding it. All of this can be found on the admissions requirements page for each of your degree programs. And if you have any other questions, again, just reach out. We can go through it some more. Transcripts. Don't worry about requesting official transcripts, especially for colleges, because college transcripts typically have a cost associated with that. So just to save you guys some money, try to obtain unofficial transcripts first, because that's all we really need to get you sent to evaluation. After you've been evaluated and you've been admitted to DigiPen, for instance, that's when we will need your official transcripts. But until then, try to get your unofficial transcripts as well. WANIC transcripts. For those of you that have already previously earned DigiPen credit through a year-long WANIC course, for instance, we will get that from the DigiPen Academy team ourselves. You don't need to reach out to them. If you'd like to, you can, but we will be in contact with the WANIC team as well to get your transcripts automatically added to your application on our end. So you don't need to worry about that. If you're currently in a course and you're expecting to get WANIC DigiPen credit at the end of this year, right? Your transcript, if you did earn that credit, will be added to your application as well after the fact. So again, don't need to worry about that too much. If you have any questions about it, just reach out. You'll be hearing me say that a lot, but we really are here to help you. So please do not hesitate if you have any questions at all throughout your entire application process. Um, Portfolios. We'll be diving into each of the 3 required portfolios for the Bachelor of Arts in Game Design, the BFA in Digital Art and Animation, as well as the BA in Music and Sound Design later on in more depth. But for now, just know if you're confused as you're submitting your application that you don't see anywhere where you can submit your portfolio, that is because you are able to submit your portfolio after you've submitted your application. So think of it, you log into the application, you're filling out all the information, you click submit, and then all of a sudden you'll be taken to the application status page, which is where you'll be able to see any remaining checklist items that you need. They'll see the status of any decisions that you get back after evaluation or whatnot. Think of this as like the hub of all of anything related to your application to DigiPen, right? And this is also where you'll be able to submit your portfolio. So keep in mind, submit the application first, and then the portfolio will be able to be unlocked. For non-portfolio majors, such as computer science majors, do not submit a portfolio. If you'd like, you could include any relevant information about cool projects that you've worked on inside of your optional personal statement. You can elaborate more on that there. Feel free to do so. But please do not submit a portfolio if it's not required of you for your degree program. Optional materials. So these are pretty important because if you do not, if you do have your optional materials in at the time we receive all of your required materials, then they will be included in your application when it comes time for evaluation. However, if we receive all of your required materials before you getting your letters of recommendation, for instance, you'll be sent to evaluation without them. That being said, if worst case scenario, you are denied by any means, you will be able to be re-evaluated with those new letters of recommendation once we get there. So, like I said, letters of recommendation, we do accept up to 2 letters of recommendation to be optionally included in your application. And you will list your recommenders inside of your application as well. So once you do that in the application, you'll just need to enter the name of your recommender, the contact information, like an email. And once you submit your application, they'll be automatically notified that you've submitted your application to DigiPen, and they'll be able to submit their letter of recommendation for you, and it'll be automatically processed. You don't need to be a middleman. We'll already receive it once they're done with their letter of recommendation. We are also a test optional school at DigiPen. So if you've taken the SAT, ACT, or GRE, feel free to submit that if you'd like. It could only help you if you've gotten a really great score on the SAT or ACT or GRE, but it is not going to hinder your application if you do not include that. So just know that the evaluators will look at your application holistically and take into consideration everything that you've submitted, including personal statements, letters of recommendation, academic history, as well as these test scores if you choose to submit them. And like I said on a previous slide, personal statement essays are optional for all programs except for the BFA in Digital Art and Animation. All right. After you've been accepted, this is more information on how to get us those official transcripts. Basically, this is a lot of really cool information you can review on your own in the PDF version of this PowerPoint. But the TLDR is if you've been accepted to DigiPen, we cannot accept emailed transcripts as official copies. So you'll need to, if you've attended another college, for instance, like Bellevue College, for instance, you'll need to go through the registrar at Bellevue College and request an official transcript to be sent to us via one of their delivery services. They do physical, they also do electronic. We have a full list of our digital digital transcript courier services on our website as well. But if your high school or another college wants to send it via mail, this is the address that you would send it to. We cannot accept open, faxed, or email transcripts as official. I just cannot express that enough. It'll make your life a whole lot easier if you remember this after you've been admitted. But that's all in the future. But hopefully soon. All right, let's dive into portfolios. So if you are looking into applying to the Bachelor of Arts in Game Design program at DigiPen, you will be required to submit a game design portfolio. Well, what's in it? Do you need to have any sort of game design background? The answer is no, not really. We just need to know a little bit more about how you're thinking like a designer, and any projects that you've done, in which case you can show off your game design thinking brain, right? So it consists of three things. Well, all of them are essays. So three essays. One is a park bench essay, responding to the prompt at the bottom of the screen. The TLDR of this is that you are tasked with taking a park, any park. It could be fictional, it could be one in your backyard, and turning it into a more social experience by using park benches. You can consider the materials used in their construction, and the sky is really the limit with this one, intentionally, so that you can be creative, so that you can really think about, why you're making the choices that you make. What about a park is, made social or less social, depending on what you do with these park benches. Really think about like, who is this for, and how did that influence your decision when you're designing this park, right? Um, and the same thing goes for the two creative example essays. So the creative example essays are about projects that you have done in the past or are currently doing, right? We want to see, it's less about what you've done and it's less about the quality of that thing. So you could have been working on a passion project for like 2 years and it could have completely bombed. It could have been the worst thing that you've ever done. But if you've did a lot in the planning, in the processing, and the editing of said project, I'm just going to use the example of like a Dungeons and Dragons campaign setting. If you are a game master and you're drafting up a campaign setting for your players and you've worked tirelessly day and night on this thing, um, talk about it, right? Like, what did you add into this campaign for your players to make it fun? What elements about it did you specifically tailor to your player base or your audience, right? Because that's really what design is all about. You're creating things for other people, and your ability to articulate why you did those things will set you apart in the design world, especially at DigiPen as well. And that's really all making video games are, is you're making experiences for other people to enjoy. So two projects, they can be good, they can be bad. It's all about how you can best articulate the process behind which you did those projects. Um, the creative example essays can, they can be as long as you'd like. There's no strict like word limits or paragraph limits. Just make sure that you really address like what it's all about. And once again, the creative example essays, we just want to hear about the work, your role in making the work, and your design process. Like who are you making this for, and what experience should that audience be having? Um, for each of your creative examples, you can submit up to two. Um, sorry, no, up to three additional digital files representing the work. So for that campaign setting, you could upload the, 50 to 100-page document that you've worked on tirelessly, right? That could be your additional file. By no means you need to submit that. It could just be simply three essays and you could be done with your design portfolio, right? But if you'd like to show off your work, why not? You worked hard on it. And if it's something you're really proud of, why not show it off? And full list of file types that we accept are all listed on the portfolio section of our admissions requirements pages for all of our degree programs as well. So definitely keep a lookout for that. So that's the game design portfolio. Again, that is the park bench essay and then the two creative works essays. Those three essays together make up the game design portfolio, and that's it, really. Any questions about that, just reach out. We're more than happy to help walk you through this in greater depth. All right, musicians, where are you at? Rhetorical question. This is about you, the performance portfolio, as a part of the Bachelor of Arts in Music and Sound Design program. The goal of this portfolio is to perform two solo pieces that demonstrate your technical mastery of your instrument of choice and your ability for musical expression. All that to say, we really just need two unedited videos of live musical performance using your primary instrument. So if you're a piano player, if you're a guitarist, if you're a percussionist and you play drums, or you've played the marimba in your school orchestra or whatever, all of these are valid. And if you're a singer like me, you can just use your voice as well. So in these two unedited videos for all instruments except vocal, at least one of them needs to be unaccompanied. So any band kids out there will need you can submit a full performance that you've done with your orchestra. Um, Orchestra ensemble, however you'd like, um, as one of your videos of live musical performance, but then another one must be done on your own, just so that we can see how you perform on your own. Um, each performance should approximately be 1 to 4 minutes in duration, and all styles of music are welcome. You don't need to worry about contrasting styles. I think on our website it says something about they need to be in contrasting styles. Don't worry about that too much. What you do need to worry about is making sure that you're visible and identifiable as the performer. So piano players, if you submit a selfie video of just your shoulders down and your hands on the piano, we're gonna watch it and we're gonna have a great time watching you play the piano. But we really need to make sure that we're able to see it's you playing the piano with like your face in frame, for instance, right? So just keep that in mind when recording your live unedited video recordings. And then on top of those two videos, we do require a written document stating one, what musical pieces you're performing in the videos described above, and then, if applicable, any experience you have working with digital audio workstations or DAW software such as Ableton, Fruity Loops, GarageBand is the simplest and most accessible one, I believe, or Reaper, which is the one we use on DigiPen. So uh, one written document, two unedited videos of live musical performance, and then additionally, if you'd like to, you could submit up to 4 pieces of evidence of musical involvement. This could be a musical score that you've done, the PDF of that, right? If you're a musical producer and you've worked in digital audio workstations before, submit the MP3 of your latest track, right? Um, all of these could classify under musical involvement, including, but not limited to, a program that you were involved in. Like if you were in the school musical, you can submit the program, be like, hey, I was in ensemble for this. But yes, this is the performance portfolio, and that's pretty much all we need. Pretty straightforward. We just want to see you playing your instrument and doing awesome. Okay, artists, you're up next. On your screen are examples of art portfolio submissions from previous applicants. As you can see, we are not looking for like there is you do not need to be like the cream of the crop artist to apply to DigiPen. You can be a beginner. We are a teaching school, and we don't want you to feel scared about applying to our digital art and animation program once you see that there's an art portfolio requirement. And you'll see more about that on the next slide. So the goal of this portfolio is to showcase your direct observation skills and include additional art demonstrating your current range, skill, and process. So all that to say, we need 10 to 15 or more pieces of your best original artwork. And one of these pieces of artwork must be a drawing from real life observation. So if I was to be looking at my laptop screen right now, actually, no. If I was to look at this Dead Mouse Funko Pop, right, on my table, how would I draw that on a piece of paper as I see it without using a photograph for reference, right? That's how we define direct observation, or real life observation, right? And so one of your art portfolio pieces must be a direct observation piece. The next one, the next four others in your portfolio must be drawings or paintings. These can be digital or traditional, and the direct observation piece can also be digital or traditional as well. Do not feel pressured to write, or just do not feel pressured to have your direct observation pieces just be in pencil. If you're an artist in Procreate, for instance, you can use an iPad or another tablet software as you'd like. And these additional 4 other drawings can be from observation or from your own imagination. Just try to avoid any imitations or stylized artwork or characters from other artists. So we know a lot of folks like comics and Batman. A lot of folks like video games. We've gotten applicants that draw a bunch of Sonic characters and Tracer from Overwatch, right? Try to avoid doing that as much as you can. We only want to see your own style, as you're able to, create your artwork. Um, Some more examples of things you can include into your art portfolio are any animations that you've worked on, figure animal studies, color studies, original character designs, architectural renderings, 3D renderings, things that you've made in Blender, for instance, if that's what you've been doing. Anything under the sun that could classify as art, you could submit for your art portfolio. But if you're still unsure, reach out to, your admissions counselor, and we have a full portfolio just full of more examples of previous applicants' art portfolio submissions to give you a better idea of like the range and also the types of things that you could submit. Um, there's also different tiers, so our evaluators are typically only looking for freshman level types of drawings as far as direct observation goes. And there's examples of freshman level, advanced, and then like master levels too. But again, we're only looking for the freshman level minimum. And that's the art portfolio. And that's basically all I really got. So, um, if you would like, please consider attending one of our online webinar events that are coming up in the next few months. We have Anatomy of a Student Team, the fall edition, on November 12th at 3 p.m. This is giving you a deep dive into what it's like being at a student team at DigiPen. You've heard a lot about the student projects at DigiPen. What is it like being a part of that team? You get to hear from team projects, team groups that have been working over the past semester or even previous semesters as well, and learn from faculty as well what it's like to be a part of a game team at DigiPen. On November 19th and January 7th, there are also financial aid, scholarship, and VA benefits online webinars, both at 3 p.m. as well. So more information there, really important. And I think Emily will also have more to speak on that for me as well. But if you'd like to hear from me again to talk about more about the application in greater depth than I was able to go through in today's presentation, join us on January 21st in 2026 in the new year at 3 p.m. And I will probably be there talking more about portfolios and whatnot. So definitely keep in touch, look out for us. If you have any questions in the interim, we have a student Discord. Join there. We're there 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, here to answer any questions you got. And then here's some more contact information if you need to reach us at all.